Hello, today we are going to talk about a chess tactic we call X-ray. We have X-ray on the board when one piece indirectly attacks other pieces or controls other squares through an enemy piece. Let's see an example to make it clear. In this position, Black is not supposed to be able to play the move Rook e2, as there is a white piece controlling that square. Our queen from b2 is not controlling directly that square right now. However, once this queen moves to e2, the queen will be able to capture there. So we could say that in this position there is X-ray from b2 to e2, because in the sequence, when the queen moves, the queen will be controlling that square, even when the black queen did not move at all during the sequence. So let's see the idea on the board. Black can play Rook e2. This is a fork. White needs to capture that rook. And then the queen is able to capture the queen on e2. So we could say that with X-ray, black queen could go to e2 and get material advantage. This is another example. It is black to move and black is winning. Right now, the rook is not controlling e1. However, once this rook goes back to e1, the rook actually is going to be able to capture on that square. So we could say that there is X-ray from e7 to e1. The right move in this position is going to be queen takes e1. The rook needs to capture back, and then we can play rook takes e1, and this is going to be checkmate. In the next example, it is black to move and black is winning. Right now, there is only one black piece that can go to f1, and that's the queen. Our rook is not controlling f1 right now. However, during the sequence, when this rook moves, we could be able to go to f1 with our rook. So the first move here is going to be queen f1. The rook needs to capture, is the only move, and then we can play rook takes f1. In the next puzzle, it is white to move and white is winning. In this position, there is only one piece controlling e5, and that's the bishop. So when we go there, our bishop is probably not protected. However, when we analyze the line, we can see that once the queen captures, our queen will be able to go to e5, and our queen will be actually controlling e5. So there is X-ray here from c3 to e5. So the first move in this puzzle is going to be bishop e5. It's a fork attacking both the king and the queen. The bishop looks like unprotected, but it's actually very well protected, because when the queen captures here, white can recapture black queen, getting a decisive material advantage. Here it is white to move and white is winning. We are attacking this bishop on a6 with only one piece, with the rook. However, if we analyze a little deeper, we can see that actually our queen from e2 has X-ray to a6, because when this queen moves, then our queen will be controlling that square. So the first move here is going to be rook takes a6. And if black queen takes the rook, then they will lose the queen. We can play queen takes a6. This time it is white to move and white is winning. This one is a little harder. In this position, we can see that we cannot go to e7 because black queen is controlling that square. However, If we capture first here on f6, the queen instead of on f8 is going to be on f6. This means that when it captures back on e7, our queen will have access to that square. So the first move here is going to be rook takes f6. Once the queen captures the rook, we will be able to play rook e7 because there will be x-ray from h4 to e7. Let's see this on the board. Rook takes f6, the queen takes, and now we have x-ray here because once this queen moves, our queen will be controlling e7. So we can play here rook e7 check. If the king moves back, the queen is going to be unprotected. So probably black will try queen takes e7, and then white can play queen takes queen, getting decisive advantage. This time it is white to move and white is winning. There are two black pieces controlling h7, the bishop and the king. So we're not supposed to be able to capture on that square. It's probably not going to work. However, if we analyze it, we can see that there is x-ray from c2 to a7, since when this bishop moves, the queen will have access to that square. So actually, we can play the move rook takes h7. The bishop has to capture, is the only move, and then white can play queen takes h7 checkmate. In the next one, white plays, white wins. There is checkmate in 3 moves in this position. The first move is going to be rook b8 check. And once black blocks, that's the only move, our queen will be able to go to d8 even when the rook is controlling that square, since our rook from b8 will have x-ray on d8. So let's see it on the board. Rook b8 first move. Black needs to play rook c8. And even when the rook is controlling, we can play queen d8. Since after the capture, our rook will have access to that square. So rook takes queen, rook takes rook, and this is winning. Checkmate. In the next position, it is black to move, and black is winning. This time, black has checkmate in 3 moves. The first move should be queen f1. And the idea is that we want to force this bishop to go to g1. Then white king is going to be blocked by its own pieces. So this means that if we can create a good check, it could be checkmate. After bishop g1, black can play queen f3, even when the bishop is taking our queen, is all good because our bishop from c6 will be able to capture on f3. There is x-ray in that position from c6 to f3. So let's see it on the board. Queen f1 first to make the bishop block the king. And now we can use the x-ray from c6 to f3 by playing queen f3. Bishop takes queen, bishop takes bishop. This is checkmate. It is black to move in this position. We can see that the king is in trouble. We are controlling squares. So if we can find a good check, we could be winning. The first move is going to be queen e4. And the idea is that when the bishop takes our queen, our bishop will be able then to capture on e4. And this is going to be checkmate very soon. So queen e4 check, bishop takes e4 is probably the main line. Black can play bishop takes e4. This is almost checkmate. White can play queen f3, then bishop takes f3. Black wins by checkmate. In this one, it is black to move. Black is winning. If we can move this bishop and give a check, then it's going to be a really nice discovered, and we will be able to capture the rook on d1. However, our bishop cannot go to h2 right now and give a check. But if we play queen takes h2 first, white queen can capture back, and then our bishop will have access to h2. So we could say that in this position there is x-ray from d6 to h2, so we can actually move the bishop and take the rook in that sequence. So the first move, as we were saying, has to be queen takes h2. If the king takes, we just play bishop takes queen check, discovered, and then we are getting the rook in the next move. So the main line for the x-ray tactic is going to be when white captures with the queen, and then our bishop has access to that square. So we can play bishop takes queen, king takes bishop, and rook takes rook, and black is getting a decisive material advantage. Finally, we have this position. Here it is black to move, and black is winning. The right move in this position is going to be rook takes d4. The idea is that once the queen captures, we will be able to play a fork with the move bishop e3, attacking the queen, attacking the king at the same time. Even when the bishop does not seem to be protected on e3, it is actually protected since there is x-ray from a7 to e3, because when the queen takes the bishop, the queen will be able to capture white queen. So let's see this on the board. Rook takes d4. After queen takes d4, now we can play bishop e3. Even when our queen is not controlling right now, after the white move, queen takes bishop, we will be able to capture on e3. So there is x-ray from a7 to e3. So queen takes bishop, queen takes queen, and this is decisive advantage for black.